Okay, welcome everyone to the November, can you believe it's November, Facebook Live series with Jodi. Jodi, instead of me introducing you, I'd love to hear from you who you are, where you're based, what your business is, and maybe it's something a little interesting for people that may be watching.
Sure. So my name's Jodi Porteous. I've been an accountant since the year 2000 and moved to Karratha in Western Australia in 2002. So since then, I've been working at Northwest Accountancy, and luckily enough was, as in all small country towns, I got the opportunity really early to buy into the business. So at the grand old age of 23, bought into an accounting firm, and since then have built the business and run the business. In the last couple of years, I've known that the tax office is going to be taking away the tax return aspect of running an accounting business, and a lot of our clients were individual tax return clients. So our focus was to build our business base of clients and give them the support that they need. Because we're in a regional area, there's not a lot of training for them. A lot of people have accountants that they can't sit down with. So we really wanted to give our clients that training and that support and the understanding, not just do their work for them. So we've been in this business improvement stage of being able to build our business so that we can offer the business support for our business clients. So last year in about May, we rebranded, got a new logo, and it really made sense to us on that. It was a picture of a book. Well, here it is, picture of a book with some growth symbols. So that really symbolized who we are and what we do for our clients, look after their books and help them grow. So we built a learning arm to our business and started doing some training courses around how to improve businesses, how to improve their cash flow, those sorts of things. And during last year, in March this year, I met with a group of bookkeepers, and one of them said, I follow the Profit First methodology. I went, oh, okay, what's this? So she said, well, it'll probably fit really well with what you're doing. So I went and did a bit of research and went, this fits perfectly. So using this system, we'll be able to help our clients get through the ups and downs that we have in the Pilbara region. So we've had in the long time that I've been here, we've had a really awesome boom, and with that really awesome boom, we also had a really awesome bust as well. So I saw a lot of businesses go out of business because they weren't managing their money, and broke my heart. Every couple of months there was somebody else coming in having a bit of cry, and there was not much I could do. So to prevent that this time, Profit First.
Well, I guess that answers the question, why did you decide to become a Profit First professional? That's, well, it's key, isn't it? And I think everyone, and the theme that I see when I speak to all Profit First professionals is the fact that when we see a business fail, it hurts us. Yes. Do you know what I mean? Because we so want businesses to thrive, and you're doing amazing things. So you mentioned that you do some workshops. What sort of workshops do you do?
So I've got a couple of different ones. So for individuals, I've got a course called Making Your Money Matter, which as we've gone through and I've learned some of the Profit First stuff, I've gone, oh, I'm already teaching that to my individuals. So things like the snowball method for reducing debts, I was already teaching people before I learned it through Profit First as well. And then, so that's for the individuals and families. And then I've also got one for businesses called Cash is King. And so we talk about your debt collection processes and making sure that you're invoicing on time and regularly so that people do pay you. Talk about how frequently you pay your bills, and by having a routine and regularity with paying your bills, you know how much money you need on a regular basis to be able to do that. So I already had this Cash is King workshop set up. The Profit First stuff just fit perfectly in there to complement what I was teaching about everything else about running money within your business. So those are the two main money ones that we do. And then we've also got some goal setting workshops that we do as well. for our individuals and our businesses. So lots of
Which
stuff.
is just as integral, isn't it? The goal setting together with, knowing how to use your money for your business and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And they work well.
Tell me a little bit about your Profit First implementation. What was it like? What has your journey been? And what changes have you seen?
Yeah, so we set up Profit First implementation on the 1st of July this year. So 4.5 months in. It was a little bit scary to start off with. I didn't know how it would work. I knew the system would work, but I was like, oh, I don't know if the percentages are going to be right. And I just went, you know what? You've just got to try it. Just do it. So we set up the bank accounts, met with the bank manager and explained what we were doing. And he's like, yep, that makes sense. And then I gave him the heads up. If you look after me, I'll send more clients your way to set up more bank accounts.
Smart.
And then just set those percentages and got started. So us being a reasonably seasonal business, we get a lot of our income in the first 3 months. No panic or anything. The first panic came 2 weeks ago when debt collections weren't as high as what we thought they should be. And so then it was like, okay, what do we need to do? Do we need to invoice more? Do we need to call in more debtors? Do we need to not pay these bills for a week? What's the go? What do we need to do? What do we do? And it was really quite interesting, the panic that I got from not having enough money in the bank account, in one bank account, knowing that I had like $60,000 or $70,000 spread out in other bank accounts that I would have normally not worried about, and just gone, yep, we've got enough.
Interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, so even though we had plenty of money available to pay wages on the same week as the rent was coming out, it was how do we get more? How do we get more? How do we get more? So it really changed it from a business as usual to a this is urgent.
Yeah.
And the urgent.
That's because of the separate bank accounts.
Definitely.
And having different purposes.
Definitely. Yep. So there was no way I was going to touch my tax account ever. I've got a buffer account set up for May and June next year because I know it gets a bit quiet back there. And so we're not touching that at this time of year, no way. And then I've got a whole load of cash sitting there in my owner's pay account going, I could use that, but I'm not going to. Don't touch it. So the purpose, so having the purpose accounts and then having those really strict rules around what is the purpose for those accounts is really, really helpful.
And do you think because of this, the urgency was felt a lot sooner versus how long would it have taken for it to feel urgent, do you think?
Oh, it would have
didn't have this set up.
2 weeks before Christmas when we went through and went, oh, maybe we don't have enough for wages this month.
Wow. Okay. So you're really preventing a lot of that earlier on.
Yep. So it'll be interesting to see through the rest of November and December how much we can keep in that account so that we know we've got wages to pay for the 2 weeks that we close over Christmas. So
interesting. And you've got other things happening in your business too that I'm sure other businesses have as well, like people going on maternity leave, or you're going on holiday too, which is really exciting, and that sort of stuff. How are you dealing with that? How's Profit First helping with that?
So I do have maternity leave coming up, so it's all around forecasting and knowing how much leave they want to take, and when they're coming back, and being able to shuffle work around to other staff members so that I don't have to put another staff member on to pay.
Absolutely.
So normally I would have just gone, oh, well, you're out for 6 months, I'll just bring somebody else in. Now we're going, what other innovations can we do? Can we put one different client to each of the different accountants and spread the workload that way, which during our quieter times is absolutely fine. So it's being creative with our workloads and what we're going to do before just jumping in and spending more money hiring another staff member. So
I love that. I think it's because it's quite a logical thought. If you're losing someone for a period of time, then you need to bring someone in to replace that. And we don't look enough at like what is the scope of our current staff members? How can we, not that we want to put anyone under undue pressure and that sort of thing, but also what's the workflow? Is there a bottleneck somewhere? It also lets you see which staff member it really enjoys a particular thing versus another, and that sort of thing. So that whole experience view must have been so interesting.
Very, very.
Awesome.
Yep. So we're redoing roles and responsibilities and job descriptions now, just so we can make it all work. And that's one of the real benefits of being a profit first professional is there's so many videos in the back office that we can watch to learn about how to make our business better. So yes, we've got the system that we can learn, that we can teach our clients, but there's also a whole load of resources to make our business better. So when I was going through the certification process, I was going, okay, so we need to build systems around how to bring clients in and how to service the clients and do up proposals and things like that, which I really, really enjoyed doing. And then I watched a video that talked about talked about staffing and if you're the business owner, you should have an executive assistant. I'm like, oh, that sounds great, because I'm exactly like that video said, the tornado that goes off to a conference and comes back with 17 ideas to implement and wants them all done today. And so that, like, watching that one video is just going, oh, yes, that's something I need to change in my business as well. And how can we better communicate with our clients and coming up with strategies to do that. So Profit First has not only given me the opportunity to sell something to my clients and to provide for the community to more knowledge, but it's also given me that understanding of I can make this business so much better. And I thought my business was pretty good, but now it's amazing.
It's a continual state of learning, isn't it? And like, I agree with you. You've got a great business and you've always had a great business, but just having, I guess, the space to go, okay, this is what it is now. These are some raw resources that I've looked into, and therefore if I make this tweak here and that tweak there, what change can I make? And, teams are happier, you're happier, more stuff's being implemented, you're not doing all the doing, which is, as a business owner, and I'm sure all the business owners that are listening completely agree with this, is what you feel a lot of the time. So I'm so happy to hear that. That's fantastic. So obviously, as part of being a Profit First professional, you have to implement it in your own business. Do you mind sharing what it was like, or the experience was one of your beta clients? How did that work, and what outcome did you receive with your client there?
Yeah, so we signed up a client last year as just coming across from another accountant, and they just wanted some support. We did our health check with them, so it's an hour and a half, I think. Sit down and run through their whole business. What do they want to achieve in life? So looking at goals, looking at their structure of their bookkeeping and all of that sort of stuff. And halfway through, when we got to the money side of things, they're like, yeah, we're really struggling with cash flow. And I said, okay, well, I want to do this proposal for you. So it was another month or two later that I met them at a networking event, and they're like, Jodi, you need to get this stuff to me. I'm really, really struggling with our cash flow at the moment. Let's give it a go. So I got them in and ran through how the system works again. And at that stage, I said, I'd like to send you through a proposal on how the whole system works. And they're like, yes, please do. So I did some of the background work. I asked the client to set up some bank accounts while I was doing the report, so that when we were ready for the report to come through, it was easy to implement. So we set up the bank accounts. And then I said, well, once now you've set up the bank accounts, what day are you going to do those transfers? So it's really important to have that regularity and the rhythm. So she said, well, I'll do all the transfers on Mondays. So I do paydays on Mondays, so I'll make sure I do all the the transfers on Mondays. So I sent her the report on email and she had a good read of it, and then we sat down and had a great meeting. And in that meeting, I told her the toothpaste story. So as the tube of toothpaste gets emptier and emptier, you squish as much out of it as you can until you're cutting the end off and digging the toothbrush in to get a tiny little bit to brush your teeth. Whereas at the start, when your toothpaste is full, you just smush it onto the toothpaste and it doesn't matter how much. So she really enjoyed that story. And she goes, this is great. My team need to know this. When we went through the report together, I said, well, when are you going to start? She said, today. I went, awesome. Wow, that's cool, because it took me like 3 or 4 weeks to start. And I'm like, this is amazing. She takes action. So I followed her up a couple of weeks later. I said, how are you going? And she actually sent me back the spreadsheet that she's using to track her money coming in and her allocations. So we're now able to see the rhythm and the flow of the money coming into her business. So she thought that all of her money came in the first week of the month, and then it was quiet after that. So after 5 weeks of tracking, it was quite consistent in the first 2 or 3 weeks. And then the 4th week, that last end of month week, not much money coming in at all. So what she thought was reasonably similar to what actually happens. So I can't wait to see the rest, like to see that pattern grow over time, because it makes then decision making easy.
Really does. And I think you've touched on such a key element of Profit First that probably isn't spoken about enough to the general public. We obviously speak to our clients and people that we interact with, but it's that rhythm and consistency and seeing the ebbs and flows and understanding not just when your money comes in, but when's your money going out. We normally have, I've shared this story before where I didn't realize until I started implementing Profit First that I get twitchy at about the 3rd week of the month and want to buy the new things. And so I would notice that all this money would go out on the 3rd week of the month. And I'm like, what? I didn't know. That's crazy. So not only was there stuff that I had to cut, it was also going, well, I don't need to be paying all of this in the 3rd week because I actually get more money at the beginning and the end of the month and that sort of thing, which in itself, you're not changing dollars coming in, but you're understanding where you have to allocate it, not just the amount. And I think that understanding the own pattern in your business and then being able to make those decisions around that is just crucial. And I don't know of any other system that can show a person that so easily.
And it's as easy as logging into your bank account. So you don't have to run your Xero reports. You don't have to know how to use MyOb. You don't have to wait until your accountant does your work.
Yes.
It's there every single day. You log into your bank account. You know what your income account needs to be, because that percentage to transfer through to your operating expenses is the same set percentage every time. So if it's half of your income and money going into your operating expenses and you're not quite there yet, you've got to wait to get that money. Yeah.
That's it. And I think it's the question that I tend to ask my clients a lot is, can it wait? Does it have to be paid today? Because a lot of times we get it, and I'm not by any way advocating that you shouldn't pay your bills on time. This is not what I'm saying. But when it comes to making decisions to bring on extra expenses or sign up to that thing, is it absolutely necessary today? And just looking in that account, you have a yes or no answer immediately. And there's no, if maybe, there's none of that happens, which I found liberating myself.
Yeah.
Awesome. So for the business owners that are watching us now or watching the replay, what is the one tip or some insight that you'd like to share when it comes to Profit First and implementation in their business?
Get started. So even if it's just setting up a tax account because you've only ever operated your business with one bank account, set up a tax account and then feel that freedom of knowing that every time a BAS is due or every time you've got tax to pay, there's money there every single time. And feel the relief that you don't have to struggle every time the accountant sends the bill through on the 20th and it's due on the 21st. That you have money. You have money. And then once you get into having the money, and you can see how relaxing it is to know that you've always got money for your tax, then you can branch out and start the profit accounts and the expense accounts and the owner accounts, and set it up so that you know what that purpose of that money is, rather than just going, see money, spend money.
It's so true. Thanks so much. And for accountants, bookkeepers, or coaches that may be watching, why should they consider becoming a Profit First professional?
Number one, it changes your business. It really has leveled us up, probably 4 levels above where I could have done it myself. Yeah, like I've been doing business improvement for Northwest Accountancy for 2 years. Every Friday I'll book in 2 or 3 hours a week so that I can work on business improvement. Profit First just really, really ramped that up significantly. So that's the first one. Number 2, it gives a great conversation starter for all clients. So being able to give value just by, like, I've got a diagram of the structure for the bank account sitting on the whiteboard in my office. And if clients are just sitting there going, I'll stop the conversation that I'm having and I'll spend 10 minutes explaining the system to them. And they might not want to implement it straight away, but it'll sit there and it'll tick over in their brain going, I think I need that. I think I like that. And even just by giving that conversation to the client, they can think about making change in their own business and making themselves a better business. And the longer our business clients stay around as business owners, the longer we can service them and help them and create bigger, better businesses. So it's a win-win, because we're helping our clients be better and they're getting more service out of us. So yeah, twofold. So
I love it.
Definitely worth signing up.
Awesome. So for those business owners that may be watching or are looking at the replay, how can they get in contact with you? I know you're about to go away, so obviously people hold off for that. No, I'm joking.
No.
Don't hold off. It's all good. How can they find you? What's the best place of contact? Are there any resources that they can tap into?
Absolutely. So we have our Facebook page, Northwest Accountancy Proprietary Limited. We also have our website as well, northwestaccountancy.com.au. And we've got links to setting up through meetings through our work scheduler as well. And if you need your tax done, we've got some checklists and things like that on how to get that done. Always happy to get on to a Zoom call with people and have a chat, or over the phone, whatever you need. Quite flexible that way.
Awesome. We'll be putting the details in the comments section. If anyone has any comments or questions for Jodi or I, even with the replay, if you are watching the replay, just do #replay so we know that you're watching it after the fact, and we'll answer any questions that you have. Thank you so much, Jodi, for being here today. I think what you're doing is absolutely amazing. So thank you for sharing the time with us and explaining a little bit more what your experience has been and how you work with Profit First. So thank you very much. All right.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.